Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going to be installing a Android, the vertical screen into this 2014 Camaro RS. And what we got here is the vertical screen, and then it's a new center bezel, and it also comes with a wireless phone charger, which is really cool. So you're going to have that. And then also, this is just a plate that goes underneath, and I'll show you that once we start the install. This install is all pretty easy. It's all plug and play. It's super easy to get all this apart, not like my Maserati stuff that I have. But we'll kind of go over the wiring here real quick. You're going to have the main wiring harness here with a CAN bus, which kind of does a loop here. Super easy. These auxiliary ones are going to plug into for the OnStar, and I'll show you how that does. The plug-in right here is going to be for the climate control, and then this is the plug to tap into the cigarette lighter for the power for the wireless charging. And then you're going to have a USB adapter where you could do the small, if you want a small USB connection, you could do that. I won't use that. This is going to be for your climate control, or excuse me, not climate control, but your OnStar. You're going to plug that into here, and I'll show that once we get in there. Auxiliary in, if you want to do a front cam, you could connect to the auxiliary in, and I'm not going to do a front cam, but there's an auxiliary app that you push. Super easy to install a front cam if you really want one. And then you have the GPS antenna. Your radio antenna. You're going to have some clips and nuts for the for that. This is for the 2014-2015. This is how you retain your factory camera, reverse cam. It just plugs into the factory harness here, and then this will plug into the camera RCA right here. So you got plenty of options. Also for the 2014 and 2015, you're going to have this connection here that's going to plug into one of your USBs, and it's going to go clear back to your factory USB plug. So I'll show you that connection because I have a 2014. Then you have a Wi-Fi and a Bluetooth antenna. So you have a couple different options on what you connect here. So I will probably just, this will be the GPS. I'll use one of these for the Bluetooth, and then this will be for the Wi-Fi for the 4G SIM card. So you, instead of running a Wi-Fi hotspot or tethering or whatever, you could get a SIM card put in here, and your unit will run off the with that, have its own internet. Because it is an Android-based unit, so if you're not running Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which this has wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay, then if you're not running either one of those, then you will need to run like a Wi-Fi hotspot or something for it to run properly. You can still do some stuff offline. You know, you're going to have your radio and all that good stuff. And then if this is capable of doing subwoofers. This is just like all the other stuff. I mean, they're all the same. They are all the same as far as the basic connections are, all these Android head units. So you're going to have, you could run a front amp, a rear amp, and also a subwoofer. And then if you choose, you want an external mic. I never use that. I always use the internal mic that's on here. So and then you have your chime speaker that will mount inside the dash. Super easy. So just kind of looking at the head unit here. For the 2014-2015s, you have a lock, and with the MyLink, you have a lock and unlock buttons here. Now, if you do not have it on your head unit, your stock one, these won't work, so these do no function. And then you have your hazard lights, and then these two plugs here, those are just plugs to, when you screw it in, you pop those on to remove and install. So pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and get with the install. The back here, it's like I say, everything's plug and play. So here's all your connections here. We'll go ahead and pull these off. We don't need those. You're not going to use every single one of these, and I'll show you which ones you're going to use and stuff. You'll have some that are open, so don't worry about that. But everything has its own place, so you can't screw it up. You can't put one thing over here. Everything goes into its certain spot, so if it won't plug in, it's going to plug into another spot. Super easy. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I think everybody, most people understand how to plug these. It's just all plug and play. It's very, very, very simple. So, and then once I'm all done with this install, I'm also going to be doing the digital cluster. So we're going to do a separate video on that. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have a 2014 with the MyLink, and you'll see that I have the gauges here. We're going to be removing all this. Now, it doesn't matter because on the screen you're going to have virtual gauges on there, so all these gauges, and even if you don't have these gauges, you're going to have those gauges now. But I'm not going to worry about it because also the digital cluster I'm going to be installing, it's going to have all that information up there, so I probably won't even display that stuff. I'm going to put a custom car launcher on, so I'll have some separate videos on that too. You could see, if you haven't seen I'm going to have a video coming out if it hasn't already come out on this car. This is kind of a project car. This car has been shot up. Yes, it's been involved in a shooting. There's probably 20 to 30 bullet holes in this car, so I'm going to have a video going over what I found in this car, but it's kind of pretty rough. It's a project car. I'm gonna be replacing this whole center console here with a used one that's in excellent condition, but I'll do that later. So basically all we're gonna do, we're gonna pop this thing out. Now I'm gonna use some plastic pry tools, and everything just pops out. This whole car is just plastic and with clips and stuff, so everything really comes apart easy. So I'm going to go ahead and get my tools, and I'm going to just pry this up, and this is going to pop off. We're going to put this into neutral, and then this will come all out, and you'll have to unplug the gauges and a couple things under here with the traction control and the cigarette lighter, or the I guess it's the accessory deal there. So all right, we'll go ahead and get started with all that. Okay, once you have the gauges out and everything, and all this, basically you just need to pop all this stuff off. You're going to keep all this harness here. So the only thing you have to undo is, this is going to be to the main harness. You're going to undo that to get it out of the car, and then you're going to unplug this one from the gauges. You could just tape this one up. You're not going to use this one, but all of this you're going to use. We're going to pop the cigarette lighter out, and also the traction control out. It looks like it's pretty simple, just little clips here, and it all comes out. So I will get this off, and we're going to save all this. This is going to be transferred over to the new part here. Okay, when you take these out, it's super easy. There's just on the back here, let's see here, when you push this out, there's a couple little tabs that it'll be right here, that little tab right there, and that little tab right there. You just take a screwdriver and you kind of push those out, and then put some pressure on this, and it'll, so it's going to be like this. Put some pressure on it, it'll pop right out. Just pull it all the way out, and then to get this out of the console part, there's a little tab right there and a little tab right there. You just push those in and shove it out through the top. So super easy, super duper easy. Great time to clean these all up, get all the gook and stuff out of it, which is what I did. So now just install it into the new one. We now have all this put back together. It took me about 1 minute to do, if even that. You might have to push the tabs in to get this to fit in, and then when you put this in, there's a notch, so it only goes one way, so it can't turn or anything. So there is you'll see it right there, there's a little notch, and there's a notch on this deal right here. So next, after we got all this connected, the next thing we need to do is we need to connect red to red and black to black. This is going to be for your wireless charger or charging pad. So we're just going to connect that, and then we'll undo this, and then in the car this will connect to the main harness, and I'll show you where that connects. All right, these do not work at all. They're the wrong size. They're made for going into wire that size, and you can see the size difference there. So you will have to cut these and go get some different alligator clamps, some different clamps, because these will not work. So you could either cut it, solder it, or you could just go get some different clamps, cut those, strip it back, and get some that actually work. Like I say, these will not work. It's just the wrong size. You see, it doesn't even break into that. It just bends is all it does, and you can see the size of the hole on the negative side. Look how small that is, and that's with it open. So when it's closed, it's like that, but look how big your wire is. So you'll have to do something. You'll have to tap into that another way. Okay, super easy solution. Just get yourself some alligator clamps. They work perfect. So took me, I actually had 2 of them laying around, so just splice them right into there and you'll be good to go. But like I said, these will not work. They changed them, I guess, here recently, and why they did that, I don't know. They're junk. So just grab a couple alligator clamps like this, and you get them at any hardware store if you don't have any laying around. Works perfect. And we'll go ahead and test it out shortly. One thing I forgot to mention is you need to pop off all your white clips off the original console there, and then I was mistaken. This plugs into the wireless charging station right here, so these will plug in, and then this is pretty much complete and ready to install into the vehicle. The radio is super easy to get out, so it only took me a couple seconds, but there's 2 screws at the bottom here, and you'll see I have my center console. I'm replacing it, but we'll skip that. I'll be putting the other one back in to continue with this. So but there's just 2 there, and then there's just clips. So I just took my plastic pry tool there and pried this out, and it just come out super easy. Then you have a connection there and a connection there for the climate control. Super easy to pull out. So the next thing we need to do is pull this out. Some will have a CD player, some won't. So there's just 4 screws, and then this will pop out, and you'll be able to unplug everything, and then plug in the OEM or excuse me, the new vertical screen, which is super easy. For the 2014-2015 models, you'll need to, if you want to retain the USB, the factory USB in the glove box here, or in the storage box, what you need to do is you need to pop off the side panels of your console. They just pop right off, clipped on, and then there's 4 screws. There's 1 here, here, and 2 on the other side. And then you're just gonna remove this cover on the back here. Sorry. You're gonna remove this. It just pops right off. And then you're gonna take your where this is plugged in. This is the factory one here. So it's gonna be plugged in under here, and you just pop it off, and then you're going to take the new one that comes with the unit, and you're going to plug it in. Very simple. Sorry, the lighting's really bad here. If I can see to do it. So it just plugs right in there. It'll pop in. I had to use two hands. Just push it in, it'll pop in, and then you're going to want to route this cable along the side and up to the front, and then we'll make the connection. Now you'll see my center thing's removed right now. I replaced my center console because it was all scratched up and trashed, so I just replaced it. So I will show you the connections up by the head unit. Now that we have the cable for the 2014-2015 model routed to the front, I'm just going to let that sit there for right now. So now we're going to run just some simple things here. You have your your door chime, so we're going to go ahead and mount it inside the dash right here. We're just going to stick it inside there and then stick it on the inside of that. So it'll be something like that, and your wire will be hanging out here to plug into the head unit. And then you're going to have your 4G SIM card. You'll see there's 2 holes here. We'll go ahead and run everything through here. So your 4G SIM card will run through there into the glove box, and then you also have your USB cords. And they will one of them is going to connect to the factory one in the storage box, and the other one I'm going to run into the glove box. So I'll show you all that when I'm all done with it. Super easy. We're getting close to putting everything else in. We're going to go over the connections here real quick. Super easy. So you're going to have your antenna connector, and it's going to go into, some are white, some are black, but it's the thick one. It's the thick antenna cable. This one right here you won't use, and it won't fit in here. So it'll only fit in the big thick black one. So this one here's your XM satellite, which you won't use. This blue one you won't use. That one you won't use. So I ran the 4G SIM card reader. It's in the glove box. I did run the GPS antenna, and it's just loose in here for now because I'm going to make sure it works in here. It should, because it's all plastic in here, so it should pick up the signal just fine. But I'll mount it probably up here later. I mounted the 4G. Let's see if we get into the 4G. I guess you could either mount that and use it as the SIM card, for the antenna for that, or you could use it for the Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter. And then there's, I probably won't be running a 4G, so I'll probably just run that as my Wi-Fi, and I have it right here. Let's see. So we have your GPS, the Wi-Fi, the radio antenna, and then for the guys that have the 2014, 2015s, this is going to be your reverse camera. It just plugs right into the harness. So basically what you have left is going to be the main connector right there, and then the air conditioner, and then everything else just plugs right in. So it's going to be pretty easy. This has got to be one of the simplest installs I've ever done. So really not too bad. There's going to be a dead space here, so like extra wiring you can tuck away under here. There's a plate that hides all this wiring, so you're not going to be able to see any of this wiring or anything. So it's gonna tuck away real nice on here. And one thing I did do is for the 2014 2015s, for the cable here, USB cable going to the back, I ran it through here. There's a little void right there, and then you just reach up, and you could reach in through the glove box here and pull it out, and then I put it all back in here. Now don't be alarmed with all this wiring here. We're gonna have this all tidied up here pretty soon, but first we're gonna do the lower plate here, which is super easy. It just simply goes in there. There's 2 little hangers there. Just hang it on, and you'll see down here it just slides in, and you put your 2 screws in, and you're done. Yeah, you'll put your 2 screws in, because these right here, once you do the pop those plates off the front of the head unit, that's where those screws go right there. So okay, we'll go ahead and get this screwed in, and then we'll get the bottom plate on. Now we're going to do the bottom charging plate, and I had this removed. There's just a little screw here, so I could do the center console since I replaced it. But anyhow, all you do is go in like this, and it slides in. You can put it in. It's easier to put this in drive, to slide it in with the gear shifter on, and then you'll be able to make sure you make the connection. You only have one connection, that connection there to the main harness, and you should be good to go. All the wires will tuck underneath here nice, and we'll get this snapped on. All right, that snaps all on really nice. You have to kind of position the wires so you have enough room under there, but yeah, everything looks very nice. It's very clean, so looking really good. Now we're going to go ahead and pull all these wires out here, and we're going to start making the connections to the back of the head unit. Don't be alarmed by all the wires. They all have their own place, and we'll go ahead and start hooking the head unit up. Here are the basic connections you can make real quick before you put it in the vehicle. You can make your main connection right here, put your 4G antenna there. I'm going to use the stick for the Wi-Fi Bluetooth, and then the GPS will go there. But you're going to see that you have a auxiliary left in, auxiliary right in, coming out of the CAN bus. It's going to do the aux in R, and on the this little connection right here, you're going to connect that for the OnStar. So and then I do tape up all my ends and stuff, and then on here I taped up the one I'm not going to use. This one's going to be for the reverse camera, and then other than that, this is going to be your climate control main harness. Now you'll see that there's some separate ones that haven't been connected yet, certain ones that haven't been connected, so we'll do that in the car. So you're going to have your USB, and I think that's about, other than your 4G SIM card. So other than that, now one thing I am not going to be connecting are all the subwoofer auxiliaries and all that, because I'm not going to add any, so I'm just going to leave them out, because I would have to pull, you'd have to pull the head unit out to connect those anyhow. So I'm just to eliminate a bunch of wires, I'm not going to do that. So all right, we'll go ahead and get this in the car. Okay, we have it all installed. So there's 2 screws that go here. Don't forget to take off your black plastic or your white plastic clips and install them on here so it could pop in up here, and then you're going to have your 2 screws there and there that do it, and then you're going to put your clips on, the covers on, the little notches go on the inside there, so you can pry them off at a later date if you ever need to. And see, you get those. Now one thing that this does come with is 2 clips that are supposed to go on the bottom of this, and then screws. They don't work. They're the different threads, so this thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. So I did not install those. They don't work. They're the screws that come with the clips are the wrong size, so there's no reason to even put them on. So everything's done. I did test this 100% before I buttoned it all up. I need to take my screen protector off there, but if you will go ahead and turn it on. And this does have a fast boot, so I've already done it, and everything works.
Indeed you do.
All the steering wheel controls work, so we're good to go on that. Don't worry about this. I downloaded a different car launcher, so this is really cool. This looks really nice, really clean, with my new center console I just installed, because mine was all scratched up. The wireless charging does work, see, we'll turn the thing off here, and we'll go ahead and stick it back here, and you'll see I'll stick it there, and there it goes. It's charging. Just made the little beep. So the wireless charger works. That's kind of cool. All right. As far as that goes, looks like all the gauges. I need to fire it up. I don't have an air filter in it. I'm cleaning my Canon filter right now, so I'm not going to fire the engine up, but I'll test all this out, do a separate video on all the functions and features, and kind of get everything buttoned up. And then the next thing we're going to do is the digital cluster. All right. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm sorry I didn't show you all the connections. It's pretty simple. The connections are very simple. Just don't forget to hook up your chime button, you know, and whatever you want to, you know, your USB, your 4G SIM card, and all that stuff. This thing is so easy to install, guys. It is just really, really easy. It fits nice. It looks good. The traction control, all the buttons work. This is the charger's working, the wireless charger's working, sounds wonderful, the air conditioner works, so we're pretty much good to go. All right, if anybody wants to purchase this, I have this on my website at www.elliottmotorsports.biz, also on my eBay store, Elliott Motorsports 308, and also Elliott's Outlet. So I have lots of places you could purchase this from. They're well worth the money. These the old MyLink stuff is kind of getting outdated and everything. So we're going to go ahead and pair this up with the digital cluster, and we'll get going on that video here pretty soon. Thanks so much.